General Protection. Welcome back to the LittleBird familiarisation series, Part 4. As an ex-real-world glider pilot, we didn't have an engine to get us out of trouble, so our first time had to be the only time for landing, hence the emphasis on approaches, etc. Okay, we're looking at the approach lights here, which are more appropriate on a runway for an aeroplane rather than a helicopter, but while I'm here I thought I'd show you. At the minute you got 4 red lights. That means you're under the approach glide path, the ideal glide path. If I go higher than the approach cone, I'm going to be getting 4 whites. So ideally my approach in an aircraft is going to be showing 2 reds and 2 white lights. That will keep me on the correct glide path. Now, obviously in a helicopter you would rarely be taking up a runway to do this type of approach. You'd like to be pulled up when you landed by the brass and asked why you were wasting valuable resources as you could approach and land anywhere. But I'll show you this while I'm here. What are straight in approaches good for? You're in a rush, you've got an evac, bleeding out, whatever. You need to get straight in fast as possible. You may be under fire, etc. So it's a time-saving approach, but it does have its risks because you have not had the availability to check for obstructions or enemy that are not visible from this angle. So it's a very quick way to approach, but it does have its downsides as well. So here I'm approaching. I'm going to land inside this yard, but I have no idea what's behind the fence closest to me. There could be a squad of infantry just waiting to basically shoot me the minute I get over there. So that's the disadvantage. The advantage is in here. I've got in here pretty quickly, although to be fair for this demonstration I'm just going fairly slowly. Another approach type is more formal. It's known as a circuit, normally used by aircraft or airplanes rather than helicopters, but it does give you the advantage of having lots of time for visibility, for checking your height, for checking for enemies and friendlies. And this is basically, at the minute I've got the airfield on my left hand side. I'm approaching 180 degrees to the direction I'm eventually going to land. So this is my downwind leg. I've got plenty of time to eyeball the area to my left, checking for cables, whatever, if I was landing out somewhere not on a formal airfield. I'm then going to turn left onto what would be called my base leg, and again I've got the opportunity to survey my LZ from a different angle, checking for cables, enemy, whatever. All this time I have the opportunity to break away if I'm under fire at any point. So this is the advantage. The disadvantage is it takes much longer. If I'm in a rush to get either to or from an medevac, this is all costing somebody their health. Again, you can see the approach lights if I was an aeroplane, and I've got 4 whites, so I'm above the ideal glide path. I want 2 white and 2 red, as I say, not as important in a helicopter at all. Okay, so let's do that. Let's say I'm going to land behind that building over there. So I'm surveying this side for enemy and obstructions, or even friendlies. And as I follow it round, I got plenty of time to be looking at it from different angles. But obviously this is taking up time. Having said that, I'm not going to have any risk of hitting any unseen electric wires or anything. So here I'm on my base leg, and again I've got the opportunity to check out the landing area from a different angle, and finally turning onto my base, or my finals rather. All the time in the world, excellent visibility. I've seen this LZ now from all different angles, and I'll be fairly sure I've got no obstructions and no enemy. But the downside is it has taken me quite a bit longer to get here. But it is it depends on the circumstances and what's happening. Okay, so the third type of approach is basically a hybrid of the two. You're eliminating the downside of a straight in approach, which is you can only see the landing zone from one area, or one angle, so you have a better idea of what you're letting yourself in for, whether you're going to be flying into a load of enemy. You can have a look for obstructions from different angles. So basically it is almost like three sides of the circuit, except that you're cutting off the corners, and it's almost like a circular circuit, for want of a better description. At any time you can break off if you come under fire or whatever, and it's sort of halfway in between the speed of approach and actual landing time, between the straight in and the formal circuit normally used by airplanes. So there you go, I've basically described a circle, for want of a better description, but had reasonable visibility without it being perfect the whole way around to check the LZ in advance.